Hi everybody, welcome back to Manor and Brass, episode 50. 50, wow, 50 episodes. With me, Sid, well, last episode we borrowed this. We also upgraded our Blood Altar to tier 6 because, it needed doing. This episode I have got some plans, and the plans start off over here, there. And this goes up to 70. Oops, hello. I think that's the position, and that should line up perfectly with you. That is a 3113. Okay. So we're going to build another tower like that at this side of the dock. We're going to then work out how to probably another one a bit further down, and then we're going to work out how to bring a wall down this way and kind of form this into a little defended enclave just on one side of the island here. That'll give us some towers and walls running around. I'm going to try and do some diagonal walls again, just some slanted walls rather than just everything being perfectly straight, because straight is easy, or relatively speaking, and doesn't always look like that in nature. So this is your tower here. I'll probably backfill this just because I don't like having empty spaces, but yeah, that's the plan to start off with. Get these areas built up, and then hello, we can take it from there. And I'm probably going to need to dig some stuff up at some point. So I'd like to try, if I can this episode, to get the walls in place and the dockside in place, and at least start getting the infrastructure that's going to go up on this side of the island here. And we'll see where we go from there. I'm not planning anything significant. This is going to be largely a building episode, so with lots of jump cuts coming back to wherever I've got to, hopefully, and hopefully we end up with something that looks reasonably special. Because I'd hate to build all of this for nothing. Anyway, let me get some basic infrastructure in place and we'll take it from there, I think. But yeah, I'll be back in a short while. Right, done a little bit of, this is basic work right now. So we've got a cliff face here. Not happy with that there, I don't like that. Basic structure, a little bit of a curve on this wall, and then the walls will come out of this side and they're going to curve around and come down to a tower here, which is going to be lower down. So that's a thing. And then I've decided over this bit I'm going to build a very small keep like structure. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to look yet, but what you'll end up with is a structure that runs all the way round to here, and then maybe a slight wall coming down with another tower here. So the entire thing will be just secure landward and seaward, and we'll see how that works. Then I'm going to basically landscape, not terraform, landscape. This is already Earth-like. I can't make it any more Earth-like. Sorry, little pet bugbear there. Yeah, but then we basically need to landscape this. This will this lot will come down and fade into this area here. Most of these trees probably just need to go, if I'm brutally honest, just come down and zap them now, because it'll save me an awful lot of time later. If I can get in there. And realistically, I really need to clear all the flowers and everything from here. Now there is obviously, sorry birdies, there is the vanilla way of doing that, of course, which is, well, there's several vanilla ways, but the vanilla way, of course, is a bucket of water, and that would be an option, but I may go and just do a little bit of Britannia, just to make that a little easier on me, because there are easier ways of doing things, and one of the points of playing modded Minecraft is to use the mod to make life easier, and in my case, I usually say it's to allow me to how do I normally say this? The mods are not the be all and end all, they are the means to allow me to do things like this relatively easily. I mean, obviously without that would have been hours. I mean, it was hours of work. It would have been many more hours of work, probably following schematics on another monitor and doing all that usual faff and paraphernalia. So yeah, I've got a question. I'm actually wondering whether I should actually put some small docks in at this side on this, because I mean, why not? You would use the space, wouldn't you? So that is a possibility. But first things first, let's go. I'll see you back over in the Britannia area. Alright, this is not a big recipe by any stretch of the imaginations. It's about as simple as they come. It's a pasture seed, which is just grass in a maniple and some living wood, and that will give me that. That's all we wanted. Little simple beastie of a horn, and must remember not to blow it where I want the vegetation, but let's go over to where I don't want the vegetation, and then we can just come along here and clear out this bit of terrain that I'm where I want. I'll leave that up there for now because I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to want to do over there, but in terms of clearing this out, oh, I missed a block. Okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted. That's fairly standard for me. I get distracted easily. It's like there's a shiny thing on every corner, just waiting for me to notice it. But yeah, I mean, it's just might as well use the tools we're given, eh? So that is, well, I can get rid of that. I don't think I need to worry too much about that lot over there. All of this lot can go away into the storage, and I do need a little bit more stone because I spotted a hole that I'd missed. So there's at least one. Oh, hello. One hole there. And then what we're going to need is, let me put you back and then go 1, 2, and 3, and 4. I'm going to need several stacks of these, but I don't have as many as you'd think. Now, I did consider just going and deconstructing the we'll get there eventually. Oh God. You know when you just cannot think of the word that you are trying to come up with? Stronghold. And that would have possibly been something. I'm not entirely sure about these walls. We'll work them out as we go. I mean, obviously I've cleared a little bit of foliage out here, which again I'll live about. It doesn't cause me that much of a pain in the plans, but this is just going to be straightforward. We're going to come down here, and this is going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's going to be the height of that. Again, details. Lay the entire thing down and then get your details. Worry about details after the fact. In some respects, it's possible to get bogged down too much in details when you're building. And you kind of lose just the organic flow, I suppose, of that is not what I wanted to do. Let me just go there and there, because these go 8. 1, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that will give us the tower. I'm going to need way more bricks, but that's a thing. And then the wall comes up like this. And it's how I then do the stepping that I'm not 100% certain on. However, I don't think that's a major issue right now. Let me just continue getting some basic canvas worked out, and I'll be back in a short while. All right. Not a lot to show for several hours work, although, it's progress. It just doesn't look very good. But I have landscaped the land here leading up to this cliff. The cliffs are still plain stone. Nothing fancy going on there. Nothing fancy going on with the walls. Nothing fancy going on with the things. This is solid. There's no cheaping out here. There's no hollow blocks. If I come in here, it is dirt all the way down to the things, because that triggers me. I don't like it when you have those little floating dirt blocks filled in some of the caves and just waiting for this to grasp back over. Now I do need to work on, there's several things. Obviously I need to work on the cliffs themselves. So to texture this lot up, I need to figure out how I want to do the dock side, and I think that's going to start off with probably, what did I use over there? Did I just use, see over here I just used I think it was stripped maple, but I think I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go with stripped dark oak, just to vary up the things, and when we come out of the water we'll switch to stripped spruce. Where's my dark oak? Get me more dark oak. So I'm going to need a couple of stacks of that, I think. And then of course I am going to need a axe to strip all of that back. I wish I could just do a stack at a time. That would be, even if it was a matter of putting in a crafting grid, that would have been fine, but we'll live, we'll work it out. So if I can get at least the basic dock side in, then that will give me a little bit of an idea of how I want to do this going forward. So we want to be probably there. like that. And that, obviously, the idea here is that we want to simulate that this is wet. And then we'll come in about here, perhaps, and do the same again. Now, the other thing is that dock on that side is actually only one block above the waterline. Does this one want to be higher? I think it probably does. I think it wants to be at least 2 high. Maybe even 3. Yeah, we'll go 3. And then it's just a matter of throw some more piles in to bring this in. And then, of course, the planking and everything to make the dock. But it will also mean that the steps coming down are less extreme, which is not a bad thing, I don't think. Okay, let me just get this done, and again, I'll be back in a short while. You know, I may have mentioned before, but I absolutely love the switch spell. Just the ability to do this kind of work is unparalleled. Okay, we have more of this, and I'm just working on the towers at the moment. The walls are in, the grass is in, but the walls need they need their second layer and their exterior structures on, and then they need gussying up, you know, much the same way as we are doing this. I'm not going to go mad with this though, although I might go a little bit mad down here because the cobble is not only a change of colour but a change of texture, and it kind of works. But again, not go too bonkers if we could avoid it. Maybe one there. And did I do enough on the outside? I can't remember. Let me have a look. We'll do that. There we go. And we'll get the walls I'm kind of blending into the bits down here, but as like towers first. In terms of this episode, this is actually slightly, well, the first 16 minutes of this episode were recorded throughout the entirety of last night, the night just gone. So all of this is about 4 hours work. Recut and condensed down to 16 minutes of actual clips and cuts. I've been off. I've raided a graveyard for a few blocks because I was running low on the moss blocks, and rather than faff around making them, I figured it's probably easier just to borrow them. So that's what I did. And then we just throw in, as I say, the texture here. We've got the interiors to do. I've got all of the lighting to do. You know, it's a slow process, but so typically my recording regime, the technique I use is to record an episode in an evening if I can. Now sometimes that means that in terms of content-wise, you will get roughly the same amount, you know, anywhere between half an hour to an hour, with the odd occasion where I slip over, but, you know, shh, don't tell anybody, it's our secret, okay? You know, because sometimes I just carry on yakking. It's difficult. My mouth starts working and then doesn't want to stop. I'm told this repeatedly by my missus, by the way, so this is not any news to me whatsoever. So doing this kind of, I'm a little bit ahead of myself, which means that I am feeling much more comfortable with the idea of spending a little longer on an episode, which is a luxury for me. So more progress, shorter clips, hopefully less waffle. Unfortunately, the reality is it's probably not less waffle. I think I'm already waffling, if I'm honest with myself. But you know, there's tricks we can do. I don't think I'd get away with a replace on these. Let me take one of those. There, that works. But this just again gives a certain amount of depth to things. Can't do anything on those sections. That's the only issue. You can only work where you don't get a gap. Well, I mean, you can't. You can do what you like. It is after all a free country. But the harsh reality is, if you leave holes in things, they don't look particularly nice in my opinion. So, for example, that one is fine. It'll just go like that. Absolutely fine and dandy. So a little bit more texturing. Get the interiors done. Get the cannons on. Get the doors on. Get the lighting in. Interior is not particularly difficult. Lighting isn't particularly difficult. And the flags are not particularly difficult. The cannons are relatively cheap as well. So that will get all of those sorted. And then we've got the walls to do. I have done the docks. However, this completely needs to be randomized up. At the moment it is just all spruce, and there are a few places where patterns have emerged. There is also nothing to see here. Honest, no llamas were injured in the making of this program. So I'll get on with that a little bit, and I'll be back in a short while. Alright, so we have towers. They are fully decorated, fully functional, fully lit. We have walls. These are fully decorated, fully functional, fully lit. We have cliffs, fully textured, fully done. You know, the only thing left to do is on these walls there is a certain amount of weathering to do. So I think we will do something similar on these walls. Just a little, nothing too extreme. I'm going to use a lot more azalea over here because I have more azalea to play with. Similarly, we need to do something with this, which we will do shortly. Let's pop a hole there and just bring that off the edge. That kind of works. We can pop a hole in there and do a little bit of that there. And again, we don't need to go mad. This is supposed to be a functional defensive wall and not a ruin after all. But it doesn't mean to say we can't enjoy ourselves a little bit with a little bit of texture and bush. I actually think we need to probably do a nice big blob of texture there as well. And to be honest, we could probably even get away with I suppose I can if I do this. If I go and pop that in there, that in there, then get a little bit of that going on. That all works. anymore. I think we're a little bit sparse down this end and on this tower. I don't want to do much on the other side of this tower though, because my plan there is to incorporate this into a fortification. Big, well, not big, medium size, just a little, for that that portal will make a part of it, and then we've got this to furnish, which should be relatively easy. Do I want to do anything on the inside of this wall? I mean, I haven't on this one. No, I think we'll say that more is less on this one, and we'll do that. I would like some coarse dirt, because I would like to perhaps just overhang over here a wee bit. Like that, just to give a little bit more texture there. There's not a huge amount to do, and then a little bit of bone meal will give that, I think, everything we need to finish that off. So walls seem to be done. I'm happy with those. What I'm not happy with is this needs work. For that we're going to need to have a look at trapdoors. We are most definitely going to need oak trapdoors in this variety. I'm going to need the chipped ones, to be honest. So I think I'm going to head back over to the chateau and make up a bunch of trapdoors, mixture of spruce, oak, and we'll just cut and paste all of these in, and then maybe use the swapper to do the work. And now, unlike this one, these are all flat to this surface, whereas the ones over there are on the top. So that's going to make putting cargo and things in there a little interesting, but it's nothing we can't get over. And yeah, let me get some trapdoors thrown together, and we can make that, plus maybe an access ramp up to the top of the cliff there, and that will probably do us for this build, or this building session, I should say, not build. We've got quite a lot more build to do than this, but I would like to make oak and dark oak. We'll take those because I can take those out. And what else we got? Maple. We could do a little bit of maple. I don't want to go mad with those though, and maybe a little bit of birch, just because we can. So I am going to make a whole bunch of trapdoors, which I am going to, process up into that. I should just do that. Those ones are actually done in my inventory, because then I get exactly what I want. Hup. Didn't want that. It says, get exactly what I want. Bang, didn't want that. Okay. Other than the stuff that I didn't want, of course. Oops. And finally those. And then carpenter's table, I presume. I'm probably going to want predominantly those. With maybe a mixture of a few of those, and yeah, maybe those. Yeah, and that's what I'm going to do. Basically, I'm going to come in here and go on predominantly those, and maybe a few of the other varieties that fit for whatever reason they fit. They might not always fit, but you know, I mean, that could work. For example, that is set. Again, a whole load of those, more of those, and some of those, and maybe actually a few of those. They could work. Right, I will see you over at the dock. And of course, this is where the power of the old switcheroo spell comes in, because we can just go to town, and because you want it random, we just fire a whole load of shots off until we run out of inventory. Until we run out of these, and it starts to break up the monotony. Now, some of it, once you've plastered and spammed the thing around, you probably want to get a little bit surgical with it, and that will give me a whole bunch of those back, and then we can come over here and we can start. Well, helps if you put them in the thing. I also need to sleep, so, and then I just need to work out how the access, and I think the access probably should come down here. So we'll probably landscape a road down at that side. However, do I want it to come down, or do I want it to come down and around? The reason being is I'm wondering whether to make a cargo crane over here and decorate it with some create and get some motion going in it, and that might not be a bad idea. Oops, wrong one. So first things first, break up this dock. And I've got a good few of these as well, so we can go to town a wee bit on this. Yeah, let me sort this out and I'll be back in a short while again. Alright, I think that is about it. This, obviously, this needs decorating and populating. It hasn't got anywhere near enough life or activity going on in it. And I may need to replace some of these with boards, you know, planks on the lower level, just so we can get them to fit. But for the most part, I think we've got a working wall. So I'm happy with that. That's a big step in the right direction, and we can finish up we can finish this up, you know, just as soon as we have things. So the next, apart from, well, more design work to do, but this is really is starting to fall into place. It does feel very much like the extension to that, but the defensive extension. So this is going to, as I say, form a kind of a part of a small keep, which is going to kind of wrap around this headland bit here and incorporate the portal. So that's like your guard portal bringing things in. So should this bit get invaded and boarded, the portal then isn't free for them just to wander through straight onto the thing. They're going to have to fight further, because obviously one of the strengths of this island is it's an island, very much like the one I live on. Well, nothing like the one I live on, But I am happy with that. That is starting to come together. Let me know what you think about this kind of clippy episode where we get more build done, but and less blurb. And until next time, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.